Hey, what's up, guys? I hope everybody is doing well. Let's see, live video starting. Hey, what's up, guys? I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. Originally, I was Metaphysical Mike, but I'm not really into the same spiritual stuff I used to be, spirituality and different things. So now I'm starting to get back into the weather and stuff because originally, before I had a spiritual awakening in 2017. I was really passionate and fascinated with weather and, meteorology, really made me, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cool topic. I want to say, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody's staying well out there. I wish everybody the best for 2025. This year, 2025, let's talk about the weather. So, first of all, it has been it was a really cold December for the eastern United States. East Coast was a really, really cold time in December. There was already an early start to winter as soon as we went into November. Now it is January 2nd, 2025. I can't believe I'm saying 2025. That's a lot to process. But the point is, for 2025, this is going to be a much different weather pattern for the United States, specifically the East Coast. We're talking about the Mid Atlantic, we're talking about the Ohio Valley, we're talking about all up to New England. This is going to be a much colder, snowier winter, especially for January and February in the Northeast. I'm talking about Washington, D.C. I'm talking about Philadelphia. I'm talking about New Jersey. I'm talking about Ohio, Indiana, all the way down to the Mason-Dixon line. This is going to be one of the coldest winters. That is what I'm feeling right now. This is going to be one of the coldest winters for the East Coast. January is going to be a very cold month. A lot of people were not expecting this. A lot of people are off guard saying, how in the world could it be this cold? And by the way, there is a snow event I'm looking at on Monday, and on Monday there could be quite an accumulation of snow across the Northeast, especially Pennsylvania and New Jersey. Now, right now, I'm seeing anywhere from 1, 2, 3 inches of snow for we're looking at, like New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York. We're looking at 1, 2, 3 inches of snow on Monday. But I will say this, the snowstorm for the Northeast, for the Mid-Atlantic region on Monday has the capability because you have to understand it is not going to be warm enough for it to transform into rain, a solution. Sometimes, you have snow over to rain or sleet. It's going to be in the looks like the upper 20s. Looks like it's going to be in the 20s on Monday. And this is a perfect opportunity for significant atmospheric instability that creates wind doesn't look like it's going to be a super big issue on Monday, but the snow and the cold is coming, and this snow and cold has the potential. This cold pattern we're in, we're not talking about 1, 2, 3 days it's going to be cold and then, like we've seen in the past few years, where the entire weather pattern just flipped over and we had a warm spill, or we had a thaw, or we had 50s, 60s. We are going to be in a pattern change where we're going to see weeks. We're talking weeks of sustained cold. I'm not saying every single day for the next 2 to 3 weeks it is going to be like 15, 20 degrees. I'm saying that it is the potential to be 30 degrees or colder over the next few weeks. And February looks cold as well. And looking out for a lot of the United States, I really think that places that have not seen snow in the last two, three, 4, 5 years are going to have a better opportunity. We're talking about New York, Pennsylvania, we're talking about Delaware, we're talking about Maryland, we're talking about Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. There's a lot of snow potential for this month for the East Coast. And I think a lot of people want to be on the lookout for that snow, and it's also going to be very, very cold. There's going to be a big pattern shift come Monday. Today it's windy, it's chilly, it's not super frigid, but next week it is going to feel like a winter wonderland. And by the way, did you notice it snowed on Christmas Eve? It snowed. It has not snowed near Christmas Eve in, Philadelphia since the early 2000s. We're finally seeing a shift in the weather pattern. It's going to be so much colder next week for the Northeast. And I'm seeing the West Coast. It looks very dry conditions for California, and there's going to be a lot of cold just shifting over from the Midwest through the northern plains all the way up through the East Coast, all the way up through Maine, and this cold, chilly air is going to get down to Florida. I do think that there could be accumulating snow all the way down to the Carolinas in the next week or two. There is a lot of potential for this winter to be very, very cold, but I will say this. Based on the fact of how early the cold has started, I do feel that mid to late March, it could be a warmer spring. Could be definitely a warmer start to spring than we've seen in the past few years. We already got off to an early start for winter. If you look at late November of 2024, it was getting colder. Like the first, second week of November was warm. If you guys remember, it was warm. We were still near 80 degrees first or second week in November in DC, in New York. It was very, very warm, but the pattern change is finally shifting for the Northeast. Now, if you want snow, if you were a snow lover in the Northeast, in the Southeast, and you've been saying, "Where's the snow the last few years?" Hang on to your seatbelts because this is the year my intuition is telling me that there's going to be a lot of snow, and there's going to be a lot of potential for ice as well, especially in February. I think the later January to February has a lot of potential for some significant ice accumulation across Virginia, across the Appalachian Mountains, and up through New York. There's definitely a lot of potential. So I would say this winter is going to be one of the coldest winters we've seen in a while for the Northeast, for the Mid Atlantic, for even the Southeast. It's going to get cold all the way to Georgia. It's already colder in Georgia. We've already seen snow. What? We've already seen snow in December twice in Pennsylvania. We've had two mini snow events. This is nothing compared to the snow you are going to see in January and February. It's already January. I meant later January. The patterns, there's a lot of potential for cold this month. I want to say that again. There is a lot of potential for this month to turn really, really cold, and we're not talking about 30s, but there's potential where we could see 20s, and these are the daytime highs. The low times could be anywhere from 5, 10, 15 degrees. We are going to see a lot of cold air come in the atmosphere, come from southern Canada, and move throughout the East Coast. This is going to be a much different winter for folks that we've been in a snow deficiency for the last few years, especially in the Northeast. We haven't seen a ton of snow. I know people in Philadelphia, people up in Lancaster, in Pittsburgh, all the way Lake Erie, they've wanted snow. This is your year for snow. This is going to be an incredible year. If you love snow, if you want snow, this is your year. So be prepared for this. I'm letting you know in advance. I just want to make you become aware that this winter has potential to be a very, very stormy winter. A lot of snowstorms, a lot of potential for ice, A lot of potential for sustained cold. This is not going to be one of those winters where the pattern is just going to shift and we're going to be, in the 50s and 60s in February and it's just going to melt away like we've seen in the past. We've seen that in the recent years where the snow just melted so quickly, so easily, and it turned over to a rain solution and it was mild and it was 50, 60 degrees. I don't see that for January. I think January has a lot of potential for some sustained cold. I do think that there will be a pattern shift. It should be in the latter part of January, but this is only a minor. This is not going to be like one and done. Oh, it's like 30 degrees and then all of a sudden it's going to go to 50, 60. No, no. We are going to be in a sustained pattern change for the next few weeks. And I'm already looking at Friday. Friday we could even see some snow showers in the Northeast. Monday is what I'm looking for. Monday, it looks like we could have anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, from 3 to 6 inches. You want to be prepared for that. And it is going to be very, very cold, especially at night in the Northeast. Bundle up because the next 2 weeks is going to be frigid. We are talking temperatures anywhere from the 20s into the low 30s. It is going to struggle above 40 degrees for the next 2 weeks. And the nighttime lows are going to be near the teens. It is going to be frigid and freezing. So I recommend staying warm and enjoying the weather the best you can because that's what it's about. And I really think that this winter has a lot of potential up its sleeve. I've seen other winters in the past, but this winter looks like there could be a much different outcome. There's going to be much more chances for snow. So if you haven't seen snow in the last few years, get ready because this month, I'm telling you, it could turn really cold and snow fast. So be on the lookout for that. And I want to say thank you again to everyone who's part of this page. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you later. All right.